Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and today we'll be reading Who Else Here Is Fat Just Because They Love Food? Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more weight loss videos that help you stay on track. So, it is something that I've been wondering for a while. It seems like a good number of people here can attribute their weight gain due to some really awful life circumstance. Clinically diagnosed depression or other mental illness, toxic significant others, or family members heaping inordinate amount of problems on them, which completely destroyed their self-worth, and on and on. I've been trying to really self-reflect and figure out what were the underlying reasons I became obese, but I really think it simply came down to one simple reason. I just really love food. Curries, pizza, ramen, sushi, kung pao chicken, Jamaican beef patties, various European pastries, etc. So much great food, and I want it all. Granted, I've never talked to a mental health professional, but I guess I don't feel depressed. I really do think it comes down to a love of food just because it tastes good, not because I was eating them to compensate for other things. Who else is here because of the same reason? That's definitely me, but I've realized about myself that it isn't even just that I love food, it's that I love the feeling of eating. It feels good to keep eating, to keep having something going into my mouth and down my throat and into my stomach. I can't prove it, but I'm sure that's where so much of my extra weight is from. It's not that I eat constantly, or even that the overall mix of items I eat are ridiculously unhealthy. It's that when I do start eating something, I want to not stop until it's gone. Not ravenously or anything, but just keep on going. 2 breakfast sandwiches because one never feels like enough. Treats in the break room, another bowl of ice cream before bed, seconds at dinner, then thirds and more, and then eating what's on my picky kids' plates that they didn't touch. What's weird is that it doesn't feel like a self-control problem, though it of course is, because in the moment, it doesn't even occur to me that I'm consuming a ridiculous amount of calories. It feels good to be chewing and swallowing, and my stomach feeling full, so I do what feels good. It almost feels like I'd rather not have any at all than only have a sensible amount of it. Is that weird? Am I alone here? I really struggle to stop. I can go without food for a while fine, particularly if I'm busy, but once I start eating, and even when I know I've had enough, I just feel the compulsion to keep going. It is like mentally slamming on brakes to force myself to stop. It is a really strong compulsion, and I credit it to the self-control I've had to practice in my running that I can ever force myself to stop. I say this as someone with a sub 20 BMI. The compulsion just never goes away. Me. While I won't say I've never stress eaten, most of the reason I became obese was pure hedonism with a dash of boredom and giving no frigs. Yup, I love going out to eat and trying new things. I want to sample everything on the all-you-can-eat sushi buffet. I want crepes and quiches, fancy lattes. I want the lemon ricotta cheesecake. I enjoy it. I just won't give that up. For me, it's more learning how to correctly schedule it so I can enjoy more of other areas of life. I used to think this, but I have to remember that loving something means also respecting it, which means if I eat everything I see, not thinking about anything but the pleasure I'll get right then, it's not love, just something akin to lust or greed. I have to work on loving food in a way that respects its place in my life, which sometimes means making a choice that's healthier, but not all about instant gratification. I have to work on loving food in a way that embraces more aspects of food. Relationships need exploration. To love something, you need to know more about it than what you see on the surface. Instead of eating the same can of Pringles every week, I sometimes need to try a new recipe. Maybe I like it, and maybe I don't, but I need to explore that relationship and learn new things I like about food. Who would have thought I would like cauliflower if you roast and season it? I used to love food in a convenient way. If it was fast and easy, I ate it. Part of every fulfilling relationship is spending time though. Maybe to really love food, I need to spend a couple more minutes with it. Maybe I chop a piece of produce to go with a meal, rather than grab a pre-made side covered in fat and carbs, or make a sandwich instead of planning on binging at the nearby Taco Bell. This is not to say that you don't love food, or that I have anything resembling a healthy relationship with it, but this year I need to work on that relationship, and that means admitting some of the ways I fail as a lover of food. Sure, I'll still sometimes eat the Mexi foods or hit up the bell of nacho cheese sauce, but that needs to be part of a larger, more healthy relationship. Example, I made a huge platter of brownies for V-Day, but making this post now reminded me to put a wrap over the leftovers and put my plate in the sink. Not because I'm not physically able to eat more, but because this is a long-term relationship to be continued tomorrow. This is absolutely me. I don't love all food though. I hate fried food, hate pastries and sweets, hate chocolate, hate pizza. Basically anything that is stereotyped as fat people food, I hate. I eat clean, just too much of it. You know that trope, you can't get fat eating salad? I proved that wrong as a vegan. The thing is, thin people can love food too, but they have many other things to get their dopamine hits from. You don't need to feel depressed. Food just needs to be a common source of pleasure without much competition. That's what a psychologist would try to look into, I guess. Might be worth a try if you have access to free counseling. I have always super loved food. This hasn't stopped at all despite the massive amount of weight I've lost. In fact, I actually maintain while eating and cooking a lot of rich calorie-dense food on a regular basis, especially during winter. I don't even track calories and haven't during this whole process. However, I straight up couldn't moderate with food at all for most of my life, especially when emotions or boredom struck, which was often and intense, and I felt like I was constantly starving, as well as needing to eat the most interesting, flavorful things. A lot of these food habits occurred as a result of undiagnosed ADHD. Now that I know about how that works and manage it with meds and a lot of physical activity, I still only eat delicious, flavorful food, but overeating doesn't feel rewarding anymore. I'm not saying this is what's going on with you, but I feel like I don't see a lot of people on the subreddit who eat like I do while losing weight and maintaining a healthy weight and not tracking calories. So I thought I'd just mention that I think it's totally possible to be a healthily and happily be a foodie for life. Ugh, are you me? This is me down to the core. My heart is a fat kid and will always be a fat kid. I've always had a hedonistic soul. The idea of having a drawer or closet full of the yummiest, worst food, snacks, and candy was always heaven to me, and the first time I filled my drawer full of snacks as an adult brought me the greatest joy in life I will ever know. I don't really know what the problem is to stop this, lol. I think I will be that greedy, food-loving bee to the core. It's just a matter of how much I can mask it to be civil. I have changed in that I've grown to enjoy and love veggies more, but sometimes I do relapse, no lie. I love food and always will, part of why I don't think I could ever get gastric bypass. But for me, the question is why do I not stop eating so much of it when over the course of my life it has had so many seriously negative impacts, social, physical, financial, and even whatever emotion issues I have are directly due to having been massively overweight my whole life. I love tennis, beer, I love the beach, but when I'm too tired and sore from running around a tennis court, or too buzzed and broke to have another beer, or too hot to stay on the beach, or like I have to end my vacation and go back to my job, I stop. But I can't stop eating even when I know I should, even when I know that it's hurting me. I know a lot of people who are normal weight or slim who love food, love to try new restaurants, talk about food, cook, etc., and they are not 300 pounds. So something is wrong, somewhere, other than just loving food. Same. I don't even eat McDonald's or fast food and I'm still over 200 pounds. Yet I know people who eat strictly fast food and candies and yet are only 130 pounds, LMAO. The trick is, they only eat candy, whereas I eat a mixture of homemade food and sweets, but end up overeating anyway. Even if it's cereal or bread, I just love food and have an obsession with it. My new obsession is exercising for 2 to 2.5 hours a day. Let's see how long that lasts. Yep, feeling full and eating a lot felt good. I was eating a large Papa John's pizza and a medium right after with a large Diet Pepsi literally every day. Now I do like what I eat, but I eat my meals once a day and wait for the next day before eating any more. I prioritize getting sleep as that is crucial, and sleeping equals next day comes faster, meaning more food. Although I still only get 6 to 7 hours of sleep, the struggles. And I drink a ton of water to stay hydrated, for muscles to recover, and because it's an appetite suppressant. Discipline is a strong tool to have. Here, I've been fat since I was little, like 90th percentile from toddlerhood. I had a charmed childhood, grew up in an adorable town with a laughably low crime rate and laughably high sense of community. Think Star Hollows from Gilmore Girls, with siblings and friends and lots of activities to participate in. My parents have been married 40 years, and I can't remember ever seeing them fight. By some miracle, I was rarely bullied. In fact, I loved being the center of attention. I starred in musicals and plays, I volunteered to read in front of the class, was always the one to give the presentation. I craved laughter and applause, and got both frequently. I graduated a good university, have a fun job where I'm valued and paid pretty well, and I live in a city that I love and have a sizable network of long-standing friends, and have an adorable dog. I'm still fat. I love to eat. I love to bake and cook and make delicious things. I can graze on a cheese platter for hours. I always have room for cookies. If I see something delicious in a bakery display, I will think about it for the rest of the day. I don't eat large volumes at once. I can't eat more than 2 slices of pizza at one sitting, but I will be ready for another snack in an hour. I'm rarely not in the mood to eat. I've never been a big fast food fan. I don't buy snowballs and Doritos at the bodega and binge either. I'm fat from good foods. Blueberry scones from the cheap bakery on the corner, $14 craft cocktails, artisanal burgers with hand-cut palm frites, the authentic new taco spot that's written up in the infatuation. And that's probably the hardest part for me and others to swear. Maybe I'm not the stereotype of a fat person, but that doesn't mean that my fat isn't a direct result of my actions. I am fat because I consume too many calories, even if they're expensive, locally sourced calories. And that brings us to our featured narwhals of the day. If you'd like to be a featured narwhal, just head on over to our subreddit at r/losingnarwhals. Link is in the description below. Our first featured narwhal of the day is FXSVG, and they say 184 to 174 pounds, a month-ish progress, plus a swimmer I bought at my peak weight, 200. That was way too small, but hopefully I'll fit into it by summer. And our last featured narwhal of the day is Rice Cake, and they say, I began my weight loss journey in August on my 34th birthday. I had had enough, went sober, joined a fitness studio and a transformation challenge, began tracking and Seco. The picture on the left is 30 pounds down from my top of 210, and now I'm almost 60 down, 30 or so more pounds to go. Thank you for sharing, narwhals. Be sure to like and subscribe for more weight loss videos that help you stay on track. Thanks for watching, narwhals, and I'll see you in the next one.